In that quiet and God-forsaken place where I come from, Christmas is a grand celebration. It involves family gatherings, going from apartment to apartment singing carols, and, of course, Christmas divination. In my country, divination, especially during Christmas, is considered normal. I don't know anyone here who hasn't participated in Christmas divination at least once. These traditions are so ancient that I can't imagine Christmas without them. And, of course, where there's divination, there are also superstitions and many spooky stories. When we were kids, while our parents celebrated Christmas, we tried to scare each other with stories we heard from relatives. From ominous predictions to stories of disappearances caused by supernatural forces or someone seeing a demon, there were especially many scary stories about mirror divination, but who believes in them? They are just scary tales for the new year, capable of impressing only children, right? In general, for us, divination is like a mandatory program, although skepticism begins to prevail over the desire to know everything in advance with each passing year. Christmas holds a special place for me, but Christmas in 2020 decided to play the Grinch and keep everyone at home in solitude. In our city, it was recommended not to go out unless necessary, and, if possible, not to gather in large groups. So, no big parties or family gatherings, only solitary celebrations and Zoom calls. I thought about visiting my parents as we live close to each other, but I decided to drop by after the holidays. Not that I strongly believed in it, but having emerged from a 6-year relationship and sitting alone, I keenly felt my loneliness and wanted some sign that everything would be okay. Especially after last year when my friends and I did divination, and one of us saw the shadow of a guy in the mirror. That same year, she met him, and now they live together. This friend made our whole group promise to do mirror divination this year. We really needed something good that year. And here I am in cozy Christmas pajamas, garlands hanging, the tree decorated, food ready, the table set. I also prepared everything for divination. No magical balls or cards are needed. 2 mirrors and candles are all that is necessary. The idea is to place the mirrors opposite each other, forming a kind of corridor. Candles are placed in front of one of the mirrors. At night, just before midnight, you light the candles, and after midnight say, "Reveal thy destined one." Naturally, you should be alone in the room. There are 2 mirrors in my apartment, one in the bathroom and one full-length mirror in the bedroom. It's not the ideal setup because the mirrors should ideally be the same size, but there are no others, and I decided that these would do. I arranged the candles and immediately lit them to create an atmosphere, then began to wait for midnight. In the evening, we had Zoom calls with parents and a couple of friends. Right at midnight, I turned off the lights, stood in front of the mirror, holding my phone in my hand for a flashlight, said, "Reveal thy destined one," and started to wait. I can't say I had high expectations, and I was about to close the ritual and blow out the candles, when suddenly I noticed some movement in the mirror. At first, I thought it was a play of light from the candles, but then, looking closely, I began to distinguish the silhouette of a figure. Some blurry outline. It was exciting, scary, yet wonderful. I still didn't believe and told myself it was all a play of shadows, but somewhere inside me, the feeling of superiority and admiration woke up, that now I would know for sure who is worth paying attention to. That feeling when secret knowledge becomes available to you and only you. I had already prepared myself to see the face of my Prince Charming and to rejoice as the figure seemed to detach from the darkness and started approaching. However, I soon realized something was wrong. I can't explain what it was, but sudden shivers ran down my skin and a sticky, unpleasant lump of fear in my chest nullified all my enthusiasm. The figure hadn't come close enough for me to fully make it out, but there was something off, something wrong. It moved strangely as if it were a caricatured shadow, a parody of a person, as if it were not a human at all. And then I remembered all the childhood stories where a face with horns appeared in the mirror, or someone's nose was bitten off when they wanted to get a closer look at the reflection. I won't say that I believed in these stories, but they did instill a bit of fear in me. I was genuinely scared that maybe I did summon someone wrong. Perhaps this demon or whoever it was could enter my apartment through the mirror. Maybe something would happen to me and I was alone here, and even if I started screaming, who among the neighbors would hear me? And the closer the figure got, the more fear I felt, the more I panicked. Though I tried to convince myself, it was just my imagination. Deciding to skip having a partner this year, I quickly uttered, "I release you," turned on the flashlight on my phone, blew out the candles, and rushed to turn on all the lights. At that moment without light, to be honest, it seemed to me like someone was trying to emerge from the mirror, at least. It was as if I saw a clawed hand. It was a good thing I said, "I release you," and remembered to blow out the candles as a symbol of ending the divination. But despite doing everything right, the feeling of horror didn't leave me. My heart pounded wildly, and every rustle scared me even more. When even the sound of my own breathing began to frighten me, I opened my contact list and called one friend, then another, and spent half the night on the phone just to feel like I wasn't alone. It seemed like someone could come out of the mirror, even though I covered it with a blanket. It was like the blanket I used for the full-length mirror sometimes moved, just a little. And there I was, sitting in a fully illuminated apartment with a phone in my hands, trembling. Everything scared me. The movement of cars outside, sudden sounds of laughter on the street, the murmur of voices coming from neighboring apartments. But as the night progressed around 3 o'clock, it became quiet, and it only made things worse. No one answered my calls anymore. The neighbors in the street fell silent, and only occasionally could I hear a passing car. Then now nothing could distract me from watching the blanket on the mirror. It really moved, just a little. But if you looked for a long time, you could distinguish it. Panic waves continued to overwhelm me. I didn't know what to do. You can't call the police for something like this. And then morning came, and I heard the elevator working and human voices, and then dawn broke, and I could relax briefly. According to beliefs, all evil leaves with the dawn. But the fear that I might have released something on Christmas night continued to haunt me for a very long time. For a while, I moved in with my parents, excusing myself by saying that I missaid them. And with these lockdowns, it's challenging to spend time together. They were, of course, touched, and I felt like the rarest scoundrel, but I couldn't tell the truth that I'm just scared to stay in my apartment. In the days after Christmas, priests usually visit our apartments to bless the space from evil spirits, and even COVID didn't prevent that. It was very timely, because otherwise I don't know how I would justify the urgent need to have my apartment blessed, especially considering that the church and I have never been on good terms. But even when I returned home after the holidays, something was still off. A subconscious feeling on the edge. I couldn't look at mirrors. It seemed like someone was not just looking at me from there, but it wasn't even me in the reflection, as if someone was fitting themselves to my body. All reflecting surfaces evoked the same feeling of uneasiness. I got rid of those mirrors and candles I used for divination, almost immediately, of course, and it seemed everything should return to normal. But no. At times, it feels as if something lurks behind the mirror, patiently biding its time for me to let my guard down, and that it will come for me sooner or later. That's how my Christmas was during COVID.